MMA Fighting presents Timeline, Max Holloway vs. Dustin Poirier 2. January 1st, 2011. UFC 125, Resolution. Las Vegas, Nevada. The 8-1 WEC veteran, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, makes his UFC debut against top-ranked featherweight title contender Josh Grisby. In what was at the time a stunning upset, Poirier defeats Grisby by unanimous decision. Poirier would follow up this victory with another decision victory over Jason Young at UFC 131, Carwin vs. Dos Santos.
Was the weight cut, though, easier this time than in your debut against Grisby?
Actually, I think it was a little bit harder. Yeah.
Why?
I'm not sure. I've dieted for 4 months hard straight. I've been training my butt off for a long time for this fight. Maybe I put on some muscle. I started a kind of a little bit new strength and conditioning program. I'm not sure. I got here at the exact same weight as I did my last fight. But the pounds just seemed like they were a little bit tougher to come off.
Why did you feel the need to drop weight classes?
Well, I probably fought 16 or 17 times at 155, but not nearly at the level of competition that the Zuffa organization has to offer. So, I fought twice in WC at 155 and did well my second fight, but my debut fight at 155 in WC, I fought a very strong wrestler, Danny Castillo, and that kind of opened my eyes up. These guys at this level been wrestling their whole lives and fighting their whole lives, and it's just a different, there's a different kind of strength these 155ers have.
And now you're probably one of the bigger 145ers, so you can impose your will on the guys. Now you're 2-0 at 145. You had that massive win against Josh Grisby. Where do you place yourself right now in that division?
At the bottom. I'm still new. I'm 22 years old. It's only my fourth fight in Zuffa organization. I want to build my name, build my fan base, and get better. I'm still growing in the octagon. I'm nowhere near middle or higher of the 145-pound division. I'm just a fighter out here trying to get better every fight.
November 12th, 2011, UFC on Fox 1, Velasquez vs. Dos Santos, Anaheim, California. Poirier makes his return to the cage against veteran Pablo Garza on the inaugural Fox card. The Diamond defeats Garza by Darce choke in the second round.
It feels as though you've gone into a groove here at 145 with the weight cut. This is the place for you?
This was my easiest weight cut at 145. I came here at a great weight. My diet 3 months out was on point. Everything was like clockwork. This time got off the plane at the weight I wanted. Woke up every day at the target weight. Perfect.
I got to mention, last week I had the privilege to see your documentary that you starred in, Fightful, which was a fantastic film, and I recommend it to anyone out there. For the people that don't know this journey, has this all happened very quickly for you? Because you watched that, and it wasn't that long ago that you were fighting on these small shows. Is this the sort of pace that you thought your career would go? Because right now, like I said, you're one of the top contenders, and it wasn't too long ago that you were fighting in these barnyard shows.
Literally. But it's happening fast. But if you count the days and hours that I put in, it's been a long road, man. I'm alone when I wake up in the morning, the sun's not out, and I'm running 3 training sessions a day. I can't sleep at night because I think about fighting. I wake up and watch fights. I watched Pablo Garza's last fight probably 1,000 times with a cup of coffee every morning for the last 3 months. A couple times a day. And I put in the work, man. I'm a hard worker, really. I know a lot of guys say that and whatever. I'm not here to toot my own horn, but man, I put in the work, and I'm very passionate about this, and I care about this so much. I found something that I love, and I want to be the best at, and that's what I'm trying to do. But it's happening quick, more quick, quicker than I ever imagined it could happen.
February 4th, 2012, UFC 143, Diaz vs. Condit, Las Vegas, Nevada. 20-year-old Max Holloway makes his UFC debut on late notice against Dustin Poirier. Holloway would suffer his first defeat by first-round submission.
I won. I'm living a dream. This is my life, my passion. It's my career. It's amazing. I can't. Whatever I say doesn't do it justice.
It almost seems like every time you come out there, you keep looking better. You keep looking more confident. Is that just you're getting more reps out there, and now you feel like you belong in the UFC?
That's exactly it. Now I feel at home here in the UFC. When Bert starts yelling in the back, I'm ready. I'm ready to go to battle. The only thing, I come here to fight with my heart and leave it all out there every time. Every time I step in there, I just wanted to show, my hard work. I wanted to show through my performance. So I put pressure on myself to perform well and show my improvements every fight. And I think I've been doing a good job of it.
Did he throw anything at you out there that you didn't expect?
A couple of things he threw I expected. A kickboxer to throw body kicks, good crosses down the middle. He was trying to counter me. I was throwing an outside leg kick. He was trying to counter me with the cross every time I threw it. He ended up touching my chin, kind of flashed me a little bit. Then he threw we circled, we mixed again. He threw a flying knee, or I don't know if it was the knee or the shin. The way he throws his knees weren't like a normal flying knee. He kind of like jumps up, and it looks like, it's kind of weird what he was doing, but something hit me and flashed me, and I knew I had to put the pressure on him. And once I got him against the fence, I have an 8-week strength and conditioning program. I feel really strong at 145. So he almost got away from the takedown, but I got him down. And once we hit the ground, I showed that I do practice jiu-jitsu.
So you don't want the title shot just yet?
No, I don't want the title shot just yet. I don't want to. I've said it before. I don't want to sound cliche over and over, but I don't want to build myself up and fall short of the title and then back at the bottom. I want to improve every fight, and when I do get the title shot, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to hold it for a long time. I just don't want it to get there premature and have to work back up to it. Brick by brick, it's going to happen. I will be a world champion.
Holloway would go on to win his next 3 matches, including a victory over Leonard Garcia, before losing a close match against Dennis Bermudez, bringing his UFC record to 3-2. May 15, 2012, UFC on Fuel TV 3, Fairfax, Virginia. After a 4-0 start to his UFC career, Poirier is booked opposite the Korean Zombie as the main event. Poirier suffers his first defeat in the UFC and loses by Darce choke late in the 4th round. Poirier would rebound with a Darce choke victory over Jonathan Brookins later that year at the Ultimate Fighter 16 finale. However, Poirier would drop his following fight by decision against Cub Swanson at UFC on Fuel TV 7. August 17, 2013. UFC Fight Night 26. Shogun vs. Sonnen, Boston, Massachusetts. Holloway is set to face Conor McGregor in the prelims. Holloway loses to McGregor by unanimous decision. The fight was expected to be a striking battle, but each fighter suffers leg injuries in the match, McGregor with a knee injury and Holloway with an ankle injury. August 31st, 2013. UFC 164, Henderson vs. Pettis 2, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Poirier returns to action against Eric Koch. Poirier wins by unanimous decision. December 28, 2013, UFC 168, Weidman vs. Silva 2, Las Vegas, Nevada. Dustin Poirier is matched up against Ultimate Fighter winner Diego Brandao. Poirier defeats Brandao by TKO late in the 1st round. The Diamond follows up that victory by defeating Akira Corassani by 2nd round knockout. April 26, 2014, UFC 172, Jones vs. Teixeira, Baltimore, Maryland. After getting back on the winning track with a knockout victory over Will Shope, Holloway returns to face top prospect Andre Fili. Holloway shows off his submission skills with an impressive guillotine choke in the 3rd round. Max Holloway would go on to win 3 more fights over Clay Collard, Akira Corassani, and Cole Miller. September 27, 2014, UFC 178, Johnson vs. Carriazo, Las Vegas, Nevada. In Poirier's highest profile fight to date, he is scheduled to face Conor McGregor at featherweight on a pay-per-view main card.
Did that just take you over the edge, what transpired yesterday?
Oh, no, not just that. I disliked the guy before that. But, yeah, usually I don't have, not that I love the guys I fight, but I usually don't dislike him this much. I don't like Conor. He's an asshole.
Poirier loses by 1st round KO. This would be Poirier's last fight at featherweight. April 18, 2015, UFC on Fox 15, Rockhold vs. Machida, Newark, New Jersey. Now on a 5-fight win streak, Holloway is set to face top contender Cub Swanson.
So, your story is a great one because you're so young. You're 24, correct? Or you're about to turn 24. And you came into the UFC at such a young age, short notice fight, right? And we didn't really get to see the real you. Then after the Poirier fight, I think we got a sense of that. And then you stumbled a little bit, but now recently, 5 in a row, and you've looked incredible. What's been the biggest difference as of late?
My maturity, and And that first couple fights, I didn't really have a striking coach. You know, it's only me and my boy Dustin Poirier. You know, we was helping each other out. You know, and just being each other's mid man. You know, and it was hard. You know, because we wanted to be full-time fighters. You know, so it's hard holding mitts for each other and working with each other. But now I got 2 striking coaches. No, I got Ivan Flores over at Legacy Muay Thai, and then I got Hawaii Elite MMA Charles Kilipi. So it's awesome. You know, it's great. And now I got guys that can worry about watching fight and breaking down fights and making combinations, and I don't have to worry too much about it.
In a breakout performance, Holloway dominates Swanson and finishes him by submission late in the 3rd round. The victory earns Performance of the Night honors for Holloway.
What kind of position does this put you in? Do you sit back and wait till July and see what happens, or are you ready to go out and take another fight and let the title fight figure itself out in the summer?
You know, I don't know. I'm not a matchmaker. That's not my job. You know, we see what Dana White, what Sean Shelby, Joe Silva want to do with me. You know, we take one step at a time. That's what we've been doing, and it's been working out for us.
Holloway would follow up this victory with wins over Charles Oliveira and Jeremy Stevens. January 2nd, 2016, UFC 195, Lawler vs. Condit, Las Vegas, Nevada. Now fighting at lightweight, Poirier bounces back from the McGregor loss with a victory over Diego Ferreira at UFC Fight Night 63, Mendes vs. Lamas, and Yancy Medeiros at UFC Fight Night 68, Henderson vs. Boch. Now 2-0 at lightweight in the UFC, Poirier is matched up against the last person to defeat McGregor, Joe Duffy.
I'm a lot more mature in my fighting career than I used to be. Normally, I think I would have got burned out. When I was at featherweight, I would have overthought this fight so much and, you know, just beat myself up for 6 months. But I'm kind of laid back now, man. I just more relaxed with who I am, and I'm having fun again. And it hasn't really been a lot of pressure, honestly. I feel this is the smoothest fight week I've ever had, and I feel like it's getting easier.
How do you foresee it going down?
You know, I really feel like I'm going to be smart in this fight and show all of my skills. You know, I can wrestle, man. I can kickbox. I can box. My jiu-jitsu is good. And I want to show all of that. I want to show a well-rounded performance. I'm a different animal here at lightweight, and I'm just evolving as a fighter and as a person, man. I feel great, and there's not a spot that this fight can go that I won't be comfortable, and I'm going to show that.
Poirier wins by unanimous decision.
Yeah, you know, I thought his boxing was going to be good, and it was. I knew he had a good ground game, a lot of submissions on his record. I executed the game plan me and my coaches had. I stayed in his face, put him against the fence, and grinded on him, you know, got him tired, and that was the game plan. Yeah, when I got off the stool for the 2nd round, I couldn't breathe at all through my nose. I just got back from the hospital. I was broken in 2 spots. So, you know, I just did what I had to do, took him down and took advantage of that.
What do you think makes sense next for you?
I think there's a lot of fights out there that make sense, man. My goal was to crack the top 10 last year. That didn't happen with the fight falling out. Hopefully I'll be up there now, and I want top 10 opponents.
June 4th, 2016, UFC 199, Rockhold vs. Bisping 2, Inglewood, California. Max Holloway faces perennial top contender Ricardo Lamas. Holloway wins by decision and improves his win streak to 9 in a row. Earlier in the night to begin the main card, Dustin Poirier fights lightweight veteran Bobby Green.
You also recently signed a new contract with the UFC, right?
Yeah.
And there was some talk that you would test free agency, but you didn't do that. Why did you decide to sign before going into free agency?
I had one fight left, and I didn't want the pressure of, you know, you take big risks, you get big rewards. So that was in my head the whole time I was negotiating, and like, maybe I should fight this last one, get another big win, and then I'll be, you know, my wife's pregnant right now, and in 2 months we're gonna have our first child, and I didn't want to go into the last fight of my contract with that in my mind, and that I have, you know, I have to win this fight to get a better contract, or I'm taking steps back and all that. I wanted to have more security, so I signed the contract, and here we are.
You happy with it?
Yeah, of course I want more money.
Yeah.
But I'm happy.
The Diamond wins by first round knockout. September 17th, 2016, UFC Fight Night 94, Poirier vs. Johnson, Hidalgo, Texas. Poirier is booked in the main event opposite top-ranked Michael Johnson. Dustin Poirier has his lightweight winning streak snapped after a brutal knockout 1 minute and 35 seconds into the first round. Poirier would bounce back with a decision victory over Jim Miller at UFC 208, Holm vs. Durandamy. December 10th, 2016, UFC 206, Holloway vs. Pettis, Toronto, Canada. Max Holloway is booked in his first pay-per-view main event opposite former lightweight champion Anthony Pettis.
Watch every single fight. The thing with Max Holloway, I grow every single fight. You guys can go watch the tape. Watch the fight from Jeremy to Oliveira to Jeremy to what's his name, Lamis, the Cub fight. Watch all those fights. I grow. I show something more better. And my plan in there is to finish you. If I don't finish you, I'm making you guys right the next day and be like, holy shit, why is this guy in with Max Holloway and who's next? You know, so that's what I've been saying. You know, this whole camp. Everybody's gonna have someone who's next, you know. It's just time to. We came to that point where you guys just need to all agree and be like, Max is the freaking man. He's the best guy on planet Earth. So that's the time that we're here now.
Holloway finishes Pettis late in the third round via strikes. Max Holloway is the new UFC interim featherweight champion.
It's been a hell of a ride, man. And we're just getting started, man. Tune in, man. Tune in. This is just the beginning. You know, I said it in there in February, you know, and then when everything was slowing down, I was in the back. I was thinking of, I already had to give up Thanksgiving for this fight. I had to give up my birthday. And, you know, and it's hard to find the guy, you know, like I said, you know, hashtag where's Jose Aldo, and let me know when you find him, you know, teamwork is the dream work, you know, if more of us is looking for him, we're gonna find him together, but we'll see what happens, you know. I don't know, I don't want to give up my son's birthday and Christmas for February 11th and he don't show up, you know. This guy has an act for not showing up to the fight, so we see what happens, you know. Maybe I gotta talk to Dana White first, man. I got a brunch that I want to do. Sit down with him and Sean Selby, and we can talk. We can talk some business.
Now that you're the interim champion, are you willing, you know, in the worst case scenario where Aldo is for some reason unable to defend over the next 6 months or something, will you entertain an interim title defense?
Of course. I'm the best man alive. Like I said, everybody always give me shit. Like, oh, why you wanted to fight Aldo? Why you not calling out Conor? You know, it's like, look, Conor's booked. Why I'm gonna call out a guy who's already have a fight? I was looking out for Aldo. I thought he wanted to fight, and this guy is saying he's the best in the world. Come and prove it. You know, I don't believe in guys waiting for title shots. That means you fucking pussy. You don't believe that you're the best guy in the world, you know? I believe I'm the best damn guy in the world. If I gotta defend this thing 10 times before I get the undisputed thing, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna prove to you guys, prove to myself, and prove to everyone that I'm the best motherfucker walking on 2 feet. And you guys all gonna witness it. This is the blessed show now, you know? I'm taking over.
May 13th, 2017. UFC 211, Miocic vs. Dos Santos 2, Dallas, Texas. Poirier is matched up against former UFC and Bellator lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez.
As far as this matchup is concerned, I mean, he just fought on one of the biggest fights of all time against McGregor at MSG, loses in dramatic fashion, then comes back with you. Were you surprised when they gave you Eddie? This is it's a high-profile fight, right? What was your reaction?
Well, I was gonna chill out for a little bit and hang out with my daughter and stuff, and then I told him I was gonna come back a few months later, unless they had a big fight for me, and then they ended up coming up with Eddie's name, and I was like, let's go, I'll fight whenever. This is a great opportunity for me, you know. He's one fight removed from being the world champion, like you said. I go out there and finesse Eddie Alvarez on Saturday night. It shows the world the caliber of fighter I am.
In the highly entertaining bout, Alvarez and Poirier fight to a no contest due to an illegal knee strike by Alvarez.
I'm dying to get your thoughts on the Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin Poirier fight, because for the second pay-per-view in a row, a bit of controversy surrounding an illegal knee. This time, Alvarez lands 2 illegal knees here in Texas. They have not adopted the new rules, so all you need is one hand on the ground, if your knee is on the ground as well, in order for it to be illegal if the strike lands, and that was the case for Dustin Poirier. But referee Herb Dean, he decided that the strike wasn't intentional, so as a result, he ruled it a no contest. This has been hotly debated, controversial. Some think it should be a DQ. Eddie should have lost. What do you think should have been done?
I personally think it should have been a DQ. I don't feel strongly about it, and I wouldn't argue against the no contest. But the justification for the no contest is interesting to me, right? Because it's intent. It's all intent. He says that's an accidental knee, but when he says that, he doesn't mean that he didn't mean to throw the knee. He means that Eddie didn't mean to throw an illegal strike. And at that point, we're just predicting what's in Eddie's head, and we're getting into a weird gray zone. But just in general, the one thing that stood out to me for that fight, I mean, I do the Pros React column for our website, and if you look at the Pros React column for that fight, most of it were professional UFC fighters, all of whom were saying, I don't know the rule, more or less. There was people saying that's legal, there were people saying that's not legal, there were people saying they just didn't know what it was at all, and they didn't know the rule. And I think that's more telling than anything, that we need to get this figured out.
Poirier would bounce back from this no contest with a main event victory over another former UFC champion, Anthony Pettis, at UFC Fight Night 120 in Norfolk, Virginia. June 3rd, 2017, UFC 212, Aldo vs. Holloway, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Now holding the interim title, Max Holloway is set to face champ Jose Aldo at the Jeunesse Arena to determine who will be the undisputed UFC featherweight champion.
Saying, oh, but they both lost to Conor McGregor. This belt is Conor McGregor's. Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me at all. Conor McGregor should be proud. Like, listen to this. He should be proud. He's a 2015 champion, you know? Walk around with your belt, you know? Guess what? DJ got 11 belts. He should walk around every single belt. You know, I go back to basketball. LeBron James got 3 rings. What you gonna tell him? You're gonna tell him, oh, you can't walk around with your 3 rings. Why? He deserved the damn thing. Conor McGregor is a champion in 2015. Get that one thing straight. What year are we in today? What year? 2017. This is a new champ. You gotta play to be the champ. You gotta play, and he's not playing. You know, just like I'm gonna go back to LeBron James. Then imagine if LeBron James then just won last year against Golden State. They won the finals against Golden State. They're playing Golden State again. Imagine LeBron came out and be like, guys, we're not playing the final this year. We beat them last year. We're the champs. In what sport does that work? Does that work in soccer? Imagine the soccer champs if they're rematching for the final cup. They'd be like, we beat you last year. We don't need to beat you. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You guys, these people make no sense. These fans is freaking, it's crazy.
Holloway defeats Aldo and is now the undisputed UFC featherweight champ.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. King Max is here, guys. Blessed era. Welcome. We're gonna now take questions. No, you know, I don't want money fights, you know. Dana White told me, we had a meeting before, and he said, this is big game hunting. The bigger the game you bring in to the table, the more bigger paychecks you get. And I think Aldo's he's a silverback gorilla, you know. Now I want my paycheck. You know, I don't want money fights. I want to get paid. And like I said, I want to defend my throne. You know, I'm gonna be here for a long time. And you know, why not do it in Hawaii? Who in here doesn't want to go to Hawaii? Raise your hand. Or just stand up and actually, if you don't want to go to Hawaii, just stand up and leave. I don't want to take questions from you.
December 2nd, 2017, UFC 218, Holloway vs. Aldo 2, Detroit, Michigan. Originally booked as Max Holloway vs. Frankie Edgar, a few weeks out, Edgar is forced to withdraw from his title bid due to injury. The UFC rebooks Jose Aldo, who was already booked to face Ricardo Lamas in Winnipeg a few weeks later, to rematch the champ as the main event for UFC 218. Holloway successfully defends his title with a third-round TKO.
I recently heard about Aldo's his motivation for this fight was his daughter, and you know, me being a parent with my son, I get it, but you know, that guy should know he doesn't have to owe anybody anything. You know, that guy's one of the greatest of all time. I think Brazil should be building statues of that guy in all the favelas, man. He's a legend, he's a GOAT, and I got a lot to feel, so. But, you know, to your question, I told you guys before, there's a quote going around. I told you guys, if I beat you one time, The second time is gonna be worse, and then the third time you should rethink your life about accepting the fight, you know. But just joking. But we knew it, you know. After the first round, I walked up to Joe Rogan and John Anik. I told him the guy's tired. He's tired already. In the third round, I dropped my hands. I was telling him to punch me. I was like, bro, this is where you punch me. Punch me in the face. I'm daring you. I was telling him, I dare you. I dare you to punch me now. And, you know, it went well. Things went my way. I think so. I landed, he landed some shots. My shots just seemed to hurt him a little bit more. So everything went my night tonight. But like I said, the guy's a GOAT, man. You know, I had nothing but respect for him and his team and his family and all of Brazil.
Max Holloway is the reigning, defending UFC featherweight champion. He wins his 12th fight in a row. He successfully defends that title for the first time since 2014. The first person to do it since 2014. Do you remember who did it back on October of 2014?
Putting me on the spot. Jose Aldo.
Yes, of course. Jose Aldo against Chad Mendes in Brazil. Remember that night? Here we go. The blessed era is upon us. We'll see what happens to him next.
April 7th, 2018. UFC 223, Khabib versus Iaquinta, Brooklyn, New York. Originally booked as Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson for the undisputed UFC lightweight title, Ferguson is forced to pull out of the bout due to a knee injury. Max Holloway steps in on very late notice to face Nurmagomedov in an attempt to be the second ever simultaneous multiple weight class UFC champion.
They keep talking about 6 days notice, you know? It's a short, he's taking a short notice fight against me. How are you gonna get ready for 6 days for me, Khabib? That's the real question. And everybody keep asking about my weight. You know, the weight is good. After the fight, 30 more pounds. 30 more pounds, 2 sides. We're walking out of the octagon, baby.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with him. I agree. You guys remember when John Jones don't take fight versus Chael Sonnen, like 1 week or 9 days? I didn't remember. He said, this is different stylistic fighter. This, of course, for me it's not easy to. Everybody talk about him. He's right, you know, because I all the time focus to Tony. Now they give me one of the best. He have one of the best win streak of all time in UFC. He's not smaller than me. Now he's bigger than me. You know, I want to give him respect. He take this fight, but 1 week ago he vacation, drink beer, everything. But hey, I am training for 5-round fight. You know, this guy have to knock me out.
Hey,
if he don't knock me out,
I was getting ready.
If this guy don't knock me out, it's gonna be big night for him.
The injury
it's gonna be big night. He have to knock me out, and that's it. How he gonna beat me? Hey,
I've been training.
He make tired all the time his opponents. He make tired all the time his opponents. Like Aldo, Pettis, like other guys. He make tired and he win.
It is.
How we gonna make?
Yeah. We're gonna find out Saturday night.
How we gonna make?
We're gonna find out Saturday night, baby.
We'll see.
Let's go.
Sorry. Could you tell us how much you weigh right now?
That is also a secret.
Wow.
You know.
Why so many secrets?
Why? So you know, when you're a musician, you don't tell everybody your tricks, you know, just like reporters, you know, you don't tell us where you get your source from. Come on, this is like Hollywood. If I told you, there's either two things: you can think I'm lying, or you won't believe me. So it's.
Wow.
However, Holloway is forced to pull out of the bout the morning of weigh-ins due to weight-cutting complications. April 14th, 2018, UFC on Fox 29, Poirier versus Gaethje, Glendale, Arizona. Poirier is booked in the main event against top-ranked Justin Gaethje.
Is there a certain level of mental preparation you have to go through too, and sort of conditioning yourself with like a guy like Justin? Eddie talked about it before, of like steeling himself, like knowing that he's going to go into a war type of situation.
Yeah, like I know there's going to be some times in this fight where it's going to be tough. I'm going to have to dig down. That's going to present itself. It might present itself often. I don't know, but I'm prepared mentally for whatever it takes. Like I said, I'm willing to leave a piece of myself in there to get the victory Saturday night.
In a Fight of the Year contender, Poirier defeats Gaethje by KO early in round 4.
Thiago Alves, before we walked out there, said when he gets too happy with that leg kick, let's plant and throw something down the middle. And that's what we did, but I took too many of them. There's no, even if that was the plan to sit down and take shots, I need to absorb them better or change my angle to where they're not flush and lifting my body off balance and stuff like that. I need to make some adjustments on my end. Honestly, this whole camp, I expected him to throw outside leg kicks. So I watched the Michael Johnson fight a few times, and he was switch kicking a lot. And he really didn't throw a whole lot inside on Michael Johnson.
and that's what I expected. So it was just a different fight than I thought it was going to be when it comes to leg kicks. I want to fight for gold, man. I'm not chasing rematches with Conor, rematches with Eddie, rematches with anybody. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to get even with these guys. My goal is to prosper and be a world champion and make money and retire and say I did it. You know, I just want to go to sleep with that belt around my waist one night and tell my wife I did it. Well, you know, years and years ago, like in 2006, my wife I didn't have a car. She would drive me to weigh-ins. We would sleep in broken down motels, and then I would fight the next day, just me and her, you know. And I just want to say I did it, man.
July 7th, 2018, UFC 226, Miocic versus Cormier, Las Vegas, Nevada. Max Holloway is set to face Brian Ortega for the UFC 145-pound championship as the co-main event for UFC 226.
Mark Raimondi here for MMAfighting.com with Sean Al-Shadi. We're in Las Vegas. A little bit of breaking news, not good news, Sean. Max Holloway is out of UFC 226 due to concussion-like symptoms. I'm going to, off the top, read the statement that Max Holloway's management team, Sucker Punch Entertainment, sent out to the media, beginning with Ariel Helwani of ESPN earlier tonight, just really a few minutes ago here. Las Vegas is about 10 p.m. local time. The statement reads as follows. Max's team and UFC staff noticed Max was not normal since late last week. This became obvious to many watching his interviews and public appearances in the past few days. He was showing concussion-like symptoms before he even started his weight cut and was rushed to the ER on Monday, where they admitted him overnight. Initial scans seemed okay, and he was released Tuesday afternoon, but symptoms still continued. Max fought with his team to continue with the fight. He showed some improvement over the next day, but was still showing obvious symptoms. After open workouts, he crashed, and this is where it gets a little scary, Sean. After open workouts, he crashed and was very hard to wake up. When he did, he had flashing vision and slurred speech. He is now back in the ER for further tests. Now, Sean, there's a couple things that stand out. I mean, there's a lot of things that stand out about that statement.
Yeah.
Obviously, this seems very severe, very, very significant. One was that Monday, 2 days ago now, locally in Las Vegas, Max Holloway was in the hospital already in the ER. And the second thing is, after open workouts, where we saw him just a few hours ago at the MGM Grand, he was hard to wake up after the open workouts. Flashing vision, slurred speech. That's
not what you want to hear.
These are not positive signs. The fight is off. We know that for sure, but how frightening are some of these things that are being reported now about Max Holloway?
It's scary, man. It's really, really scary.
July 28, 2018. UFC on Fox 30. Alvarez versus Poirier 2. Calgary, Alberta. Poirier is once again booked in a rematch with Eddie Alvarez as the main event.
It's happening. You know, it's happening. I'm excited, man. I'm grateful every morning I wake up happy and grateful that I'm here, that Eddie's here, that we got him here, and that we got 25 minutes to find out who the better man is.
In a wildly entertaining and violent fight, Poirier defeats Alvarez by knockout 4 minutes into the second round.
Weird thing is, man, when I had the guillotine, he was trying to like drive up my body. He stuck his finger in my ear and was like pulling my head down, and the ref warned him, and then he put his finger right back in my ear. So, I mean, this is an old dog who knows a lot of tricks, and I don't want to say somebody's a dirty fighter, but first fight you knee me, second fight you try to elbow me illegally, and you give me a wet willy. We got to draw the line somewhere.
Thanks, Dustin.
Even though he stuck his finger in my ear tonight, man, he penetrated my ear. I still respect the guy now, because we spoke out back after the fight, and he said a couple things to me that, I respect the guy.
December 8th, 2018, UFC 231, Holloway versus Ortega, Toronto, Canada. The UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway and #1 contender and undefeated Brian Ortega are rebooked as the main event at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto.
Was there ever part of you that doubted that this fight would come together with him and maybe had to mentally start to begin to turn the page on that?
I mean, like I always tell everyone right now lately, especially because it's the most common question. At the end of the day, I really do care about your health. and how you are and how you're doing. I know you got a son. I mean, bullshit aside, you know, I know we're fighting all that shit, but I do hope you're all right. He's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, for me, that, you know, it ain't cool if you step in there and you're not physically all right or something's going on. You know, I wouldn't want me to step in there. I wouldn't want him to step in there, especially you got a family. I got my family. So, like I said, I did worry about him. I pray for you, swear to God. And we're going to give you guys the show you guys deserve. And nothing's going to happen.
Holloway defeats Ortega by doctor stoppage at the end of 4 rounds.
What do you attribute your great improvement to from 5 years ago to now? 5 years is not a long time, but you are a dramatically different guy. What do you attribute the improvement to?
Great coaches. I'm about to give you 3 names. Write them down. They're gonna go in the history book. Riley Lazarus, Ivan Flores, and Darren Yap. The 3-headed beasts. These guys is animals. These guys break down a lot of stuff. You know, even my wrestling coach, Michael Nakagawa, he's a fighter. He's coming up. My brother. And but those guys, those 3 guys and those 4 guys, they put it on the line for me all the time. Those 4 guys right there is their brains behind. I'm just a guy. I'm just the guy doing it, but their brains putting it behind me. So I love those guys. You know, when you're in there, you see things. You know, I just felt his energy dropping every round. I heard his coaches talking. You know, in the first couple rounds, and he'd push, and then, you know, around like the 3rd round and stuff, I heard his coaches talking, and there's no push anymore, you know. And then when I was coming out of the 3rd round, I told Joe, this is the round. Get ready to come in and talk to me. And then when I didn't get the finish, I walked straight to Joe. I was like, this close, maybe next one. And then when they called the fight, I jumped the cage. The first guy I talked to was Joe. I was like, hey, I guess I was right. I take it back. We was there. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All done? Yeah, please.
April 13th, 2019, UFC 236, Holloway vs. Poirier 2, Atlanta, Georgia. For the first time in his UFC career, the featherweight champ will go up in weight to rematch Dustin Poirier. However, this time the stakes will be much higher, as the winner will be crowned the new interim UFC lightweight champion.